All right, all right. Once again, this is David Loves Comics. It's been a while. Hope everybody's safe and sound in the world we living in right now. And I'm just get to the nitty gritty of it, of this video. And DC Fandom is coming up. This weekend. DC got a lot of, announcements and things coming up. Down the pipe this weekend. I'm a big DC fan. I'm a big comic book fan. Uh, I plan on just catching a few little highlights and just, you know, catching some sleep myself. Uh, and I say this because my point of this video is there's a lot of videos out there of what to expect, what to look for, and what's for the big announcements. And I want to just throw one little thing out there that I think that people are kind of missing. That with this, what's going on in the world and a lot of the, the strife and protests and looting and mask and, people losing jobs, which is, and losing lives in this time. And not to get real heavy, but DC, Warner Brothers, and AT&T, they're a corporation and they're one of the corporations that's uh, is making a lot of money, hand over foot, with a lot of other companies out there in this strife. More power to them. But in the world of entertainment, uh, it's a big battle between what fans want and expectations, what they want, and what they are giving to us. And I have a little issue with DC fans. I have a little bit of issue. Uh, and I'm a DC fan as myself, and I may be guilty of it, but we are really getting spoon fed a lot of, you know, take this, you better enjoy it. I mean, me, myself. I know there's other people that I have talked to, even casual movie going fans, uh, especially casual movie going fans, that you need to make these huge blocks. You need people who's not fully that invested in all this comic book stuff. I want to just see a good film. And that's why with the DC expect, my expectation of DC announcements going to come up. You may see them, you may not. DC is king of making announcements, and maybe to come out, or maybe won't, or it fell out. So I won't go into the history of it. But one thing about this video that, which I really want to emphasize a point is there's a list of announcements that people, you know, rightly excited for. But I'm always curious of, is this something that we was expecting to maybe have because it was promised? And and I'm just kind of curious what happened to the promises that I mean, no one's really obligated, but I can just go up a little list. So Justice League came out, didn't do that well, as we know, and for whatever reasons, put together. It was some tragedy behind it. Uh, the director Scott Snyder, Zack Snyder, had to leave away from the project, and and we got what we got. But rather than talking about Justice League 2, maybe with another director, I figure over time, maybe Zack Snyder will come back if people wanted him, or was his name tainted at the time. But Justice League 2. Uh, but I just think somewhere online, I just think instead of that, we got the Joker movie. I mean, it's unrelated, but no one asked for the Joker movie or the origin. I think most people just assumed that Jared Leto was going to get a solo film. And it was like, oh, well, people, not enough box office draw, throw it out the window. Because with the right script, I mean, on paper, Jared Leto should have, I mean, it would have been amazing. But we got the Joker. And I just think with Man of Steel is another one. We got the Man of Steel. Then we got Batman vs Superman. It didn't make enough money. Throw Batman in it, and which I guess that solves everything. But a world where, because Krypton was promised, that was the the best thing of Man of Steel of how the Krypton world was envisioned, and I could have stayed on that for another hour or so, but people was looking at it. One of the Kryptons that came to Earth already was a Supergirl, and we was promised, and it was just like didn't make enough money. Batman versus Superman, and that's a whole new different topic. But rather than even any talk of Henry Cavill coming back or Man of Steel, to any talk of it, it's like we're going to bring you the Snyder cut of the Justice League. Now, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm a DC fan, but I just envision that like other movies, Superman 2, the Donner Cut of Blade Runner, a Blu-ray, DVD, extra features, re-release. This is the Snyder Cut. Look at your leisure. Maybe a release for 2 weeks. But with it on HBO Max subscription service, I mean, you're gonna lose a bulk of folks. And I'm just kind of like, okay, you know. And one of the things, another issue that I'm looking at is the Flashpoint. They talked about a Flashpoint. We're going to get the Flashpoint, the Thomas Wayne. I mean, that is such a big thing in the comics, and it's like, okay, Michael Keaton is going to be in the Flash movie. Now, I want to really emphasize, and I'm telling everybody this: have no expectations, because first of all, he's playing Bruce Wayne. That's the difference between him playing Batman and Bruce Wayne, and so he may make an appearance and run around, but that's not Flashpoint. And then it was talk about maybe Batman Beyond with Michael Keaton. I'm excited about that, but there's no Terry McGillis. They talk about maybe a bad girl, but it's like, okay, well, and DC has a way they're trying to please everybody, but let's just throw everything in it. I mean, Batman vs Superman. It's going to be the Dark Knight. It's going to be the Doomsday. It's going to be the death of Superman. It's going to be the first appearance of Wonder Woman. Throw a little Aquaman in it. Just let's see what sticks. And that's overwhelming to throw at a lot of casual movie going fans. The heart of that movie was Cyborg. The whole movie should have been through the eyes of Cyborg. And I'm not a real big Cyborg fan. Booyah! But Ray Fisher, who played him, he was magnetic, in that. But with his loss of his mom, connecting with his father and in the family, and that line about, you know, uh, the monster line. People, not everyone thinks of you as a monster. And Ray Fisher said, well, "Who said that I was?" Miss Cole, who said it? Who said I was talking about me? Oh my God, it was just chills. But that's a whole different thing. And then also, I'm looking at the Matt Reeves. This is, I'm interested in Matt Reeves. I'm interested in new Batman take on it, do a little spin on it. I thought Ben Affleck I thought he was okay. He's not my favorite Batman, but besides that, since you cast Ben Affleck in the movie, only thing I was thinking, and most fans was, I want to see Ben Affleck do a Batman movie. This is Academy Award winning filmmaker, so I'm ready. And if he decided it's going to be a prequel, the earlier days, if he's writing it and directing it, then I'm because that's 2015, or 2014 when he was it 2013 announced as that he was going to be Batman because they did Batman vs Superman. 2016, 17, and then 2017 Matt Reeves was like, Ben Affleck is not going to be doing it. He's still going to be in the Justice League. Before Justice League came out, Ben Affleck it was already decided secretly he was not going to be coming back as Batman. And then it was Matt Reeves, which he's the ballsiest brother in the world. I mean, I give him credit because he came out and It's not going to be connected to the cinematic universe that you are started in 3 films. It's not going to be connected. It's going to be a separate Batman, and it's going to be a prequel. We're going to start all over in the middle of building the DC cinematic universe. I'm not mad, but I said, "Whoa!" I mean, I'm like, "Whoa!" And now I think realizing now that people's catching up, but I didn't hear any outcry. I think people say, "Oh man, more Batman for everybody," and I'm just like, really? Because if you can imagine, just imagine if, and not to compare, it's two different things. Just imagine the Avengers came out 2012, and then someone say, "Hey man, I got an idea for Captain America. We're gonna retell his origin. So we're gonna pull him out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're gonna go back to World War II, and we're gonna do it like let's do it the second year while he was fighting, the Nazis and stuff. Which they could have did. That could have been a Disney Plus spinoff. I would have loved to see more adventures of Cap. Maybe even throw a Human Torch or an Invaders. Like I had one. I had one. I had a meeting one time, but that's something different. But just imagine if Marvel said, "Hey, we're gonna pull Captain America out, and you know, the Russo brothers would have did that and just say, well, you good luck without him." I mean, people would have told some stuff. I mean, it wouldn't have been done. It wouldn't have been asked. It wouldn't have been done. But DC, okay, you got an idea, take them. You got an idea, take them. And I'm just like, okay. So my big thing, and this is a really good point where I really want to get to the nitty gritty, is this is not over explaining or simplifying it. It's common knowledge. DC is owned by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is owned by AT&T. And I think this is the heart that everyone talks about, but as I'm laying it all out, even before the things going on in this world and the strife, AT&T is not worried. Is not worried about box office. They're not. It's not important to them because AT&T is cable and then internet. Long as you paying it on the couch, we is not worried about that you get your box of popcorn. It's these IP, these properties, Batman, Superman. That's all we worried about. But we already got the catalog. So a film that's self-contained with 2 hours, well, enjoyable. Okay, that sounds fun, but it's not. It's not the big. It's not the big drive because when you say we're gonna do Flashpoint, if you say you're gonna do Flashpoint, well, we don't have Michael Keaton right now, but we had somebody play Thomas Wayne, and maybe we can bring him back, or maybe we get a different Batman. We can mix it, but if we want a Batman that people know, and we already have the catalog, we don't have to do a prequel. If the Flash, Mr. Miller, run into Michael Keaton, you. By the way, you can watch the first 2 movies at home in the library. We got HBO Max, we got DC Universe. I mean, it's catalog. You want to see Mr. Flash run across other superheroes and other multi-universe. Well, we did it on CW. You didn't see it. We own the rights to that. It's catalog, and that's different from telling a full story. And the thing about HBO Max, that people say, oh, HBO Max is it's not selling a lot of people that are using the app. That's not that's a false narrative because anybody that has AT&T or HBO Go or you woke up one day HBO Go and it was purple, like Prince came to your house. It's gone, and so you didn't ask for it, but here you got it, and so that's viewers. I mean, that's a number you can't even count because most of my friends who have AT&T, I got HBO Go. I mean, I got HBO Max. Uh, and so that's a weird thing. And with truly, uh, with the Matt Reeves doing a television, it's the talk of doing a Gotham show on HBO Max. Can you imagine a movie come out, not a side piece, but you got to do a little homework, or it's a selling point. You got to get HBO Max to, get the vibe of it. And I know most people are like, I'm not. That's homework. I'm gonna just see the film. It's a side piece. Interested. And I know Disney thinking, because not to compare one or the other, but the thing about Disney Plus is not, it's $6.99. You can take it or leave it. You want to see, some Star Wars films. You want to put, you got the movies already. You got a nice app, because the Falcon and Vision and their products is truly sad. They've already established their cinematic universe. They know that is the bread and butter. These are characters that is not sell can't sell a movie. Falcon, no disrespect on the Winter Soldier, you know, they're not gonna be able to feel a movie. So, but I know that when the movies come out, if you've seen it, it's helpful, but it ain't life or death. They not gonna they not gonna have them, they not gonna have major storyline. It's gonna be all this happened, but it's just something a little something added. But that's the big difference. But I just really want DC fans to just kind of step back on, like, wait a minute, are we getting things that we really want? If you are getting it, then I'm happy for you. But if you're not, just kind of go like, okay, because uh, weirdly, and I'm at fault with this too, because uh, the formula, like films that are like, okay, there's Birds of Prey. People say that didn't make a lot of money because it wasn't like the comic book, the storyline. They mixed the characters up, and that's why it didn't work. But then I look at Shazam, who I, I don't think there's been a comic book movie ripped from the page from a comic book more than Shazam. You can flip the book and go like, oh my God. And it made a profit, but people go, oh yeah, they forget because it didn't fit the dark and grittiness of it. But the marketing of Shazam was bad because I didn't see it in the movie, so I'm at blame too. But when I did watch it, I was absolutely blown away. I was like, this is one of the best DC films in years. I'm just like, oh my God. And it's dark. I mean, it's got a few little tones. Oh, that's okay. And so but Birds of Prey, that's another, didn't, make money wise. It had the DC assortment of characters. And so it's kind of like, well, what is the expectations? Joker, that's another example. To me, I want all, but this is my Joker. I love this one. This is great. It was a great book that they could have just tore this, ripped this off the pages. But Joker was not nothing ripped from the pages of comic book wise. Uh, Joker it was an art project. And I mean, but you know, Wonderful has a film it was, but I'm thinking, well, how does it connect? Is it self-containing? Because you can do elsewhere stories when you get your base done. Then you can find, go in time, make it a Batman goes Jonah Hex or Gotham City or go to hell. Go, you can mix it up. But you take the prime figure villain of Joker, uh, and just do your experimentation, which is great. But I'm just surprised at DC fans and say, well, man, I mean, we've been waiting. The last Batman film was 2013. Here, 2000, we won't get to 2021 or 22, and here Joker just slide up, you know. on an independent vibe. But I mean, but that's pretty much. I didn't want to go on too big of a rant, and not to be a downer. People be excited, get what you want, but just kind of, I have to do myself, kind of sit back and critically, I'm kind of think a little bit like, well, am I getting what I'm asking for? I know I like to be surprised, every storyline, and it's nothing about being straight from the comic book or I expect this, but when because I do social work and stuff, so on my day to day job. But when you promise somebody, and you work with somebody, I'm gonna help you get some clothing and get you an apartment. People are like, okay, yeah. I mean, since you telling me you can do this, and then they come back a week later and like, oh, okay, I'm ready. Oh man, I need. Was that today? And it's like what? You know, uh, you came to me and now you act like, oh, and and I guess that's my crazy mindset. I don't know, that's probably telling too much. But you like Henry Cavill, you like him back, you like the Krypton the Man of Steel. We're gonna see him fight, Brainiac and Lex Luthor and Mixoplex and we're gonna mix it all up. No, we ain't doing, no. You like Ben Affleck, Martha. You like the, you like the, you like that Ben Affleck. You love that Ben Affleck. You ain't gonna get him no more. Did the Justice League, but but that was a different, that was a different Batman. But the promise of getting the seven together, uh, and it's like it didn't make enough money, scrap it, and I'm just like, okay, well, So that's in a nutshell. So like I said, I'm a sneak peek of the DC fandom. Thanks for listening, take a little time, my little rant for the evening or for the day, and you all have a good night and be safe. Wear a mask, vote, and read. So that's it.